This is Carla Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and this is my stone cold lock of the century or the week.
In 5th place, we've got Noah Olson. Don't come in 13th place when I have you in 5th, Noah. Show your true potential. I heard the first 3 workouts are Fran. Yo, I'm going to start this thing off by telling you guys that I am the type of person that if you're familiar with fantasy sports, fantasy football, baseball, basketball, whatever, I'll sit in the draft room with all my buddies, whomever I'm playing the fantasy sport with. And I'll say, oh, you're going to regret that decision. And then I'll pick somebody and I'll go, wow, I got that person. What a steal. And I'm sure that everybody knows that person. I've been the same way with CrossFit for a long time as well. As I like to always say it, the affiliate, a lot of conversations stem from there. And I would sit there and I would say, I put my money on so-and-so. And I would always like to put the underdog up against the person who was always at the top of the leaderboard. You may remember how this year I thought Noah Olson was going to win the CrossFit Games, and then he ended up not winning the CrossFit Games. That's a very good example of how I like to put myself out there. And you may also remember that I did an entire power rankings of the CrossFit Games, and at the end of the video I said that it was based upon their Instagram followers. This is not going to be that type of video. This is legitimately something where I think it has a potential to happen, but it's probably also unlikely to happen. I am also the type of guy that doesn't like to hear, oh, the Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl again. The Yankees are going to make the playoffs. I'm from the Chicagoland area, and I think that Justin Fields is completely overrated. You're not going to read or see that anywhere, but when it ends up coming to fruition, I'm going to be the first one to say that I told you so. Which brings me to the men's list at the Rogue Invitational. My top 3, you're going to have Roman Krennikov, Jeffrey Adler, and Ricky Garrard. I did peek at the comment section. In the comment section, everyone's like, I can't believe you got Jeff Adler that high. And then you'll also forget that he did extremely well at the Rogue Invitational last year. He did well at the CrossFit Games this year. And I'm just waiting for him to really kind of peek out to the top. And I don't think that he has the capability to beat Roman Krennikov. He's a power output machine. If you've heard Brian Friends speak ever, you'll know that the Rogue Invitational is heavy, power output based, strongman implements, all that type of crap. They did the Atlas Stone thing last year, and you'll see that I've got Justin Medeiros in 4th. I'll be a little bit hypocritical at this statement, but I think that he may not be in the greatest shape. Not too long ago, he put a video of him doing a backflip, and he talked about how he was doing a little bit of recovery, doing things he wouldn't typically be doing. When you put those two together, you hear, oh, maybe you're not going to be quite the contender that you'd always been. And I'm a big Justin Medeiros fan, but I could see him finishing in 4th behind the 3 guys that I have ahead of him, just as likely as I could see him finishing in 1st. In 5th place, we've got Noah Olson. I just hope he doesn't fuck me over again. Don't come in 13th place when I have you in 5th, Noah. Show your true potential. I heard the first 3 workouts are Fran. Petra Fellner's in 6th. Bill Henniger put up that roller coaster looking motherfucker, and I don't think that he's going to be able to operate that thing. Petra Fellner always seems to find a way to fuck that sort of thing up. Samuel Quant, the first of a handful of athletes that's on the rebound after having left comp train. The newest HWPO athlete is going to beat out one of the OG HWPO athletes in Jason Hopper, who's going to end up being a perennial 8th place finisher because that's the exact same number as his body fat percentage. Nick Matthews is going to be in 9th. We've got similar facial hair. I'm a big fan of his t-shirt. He's going to inch his way up the leaderboard until he finishes on the podium one of these days, and then I'm going to say, hey, remember the one time you just ditched the end of the Wadapalooza freaking competition? BKG in 10th. You're just above average in everything, so you're going to be right in the middle of the field. Saxon Panchik, if you show up, you'll finish higher. Show up. Yonikoski, no water, bottom half of the field. Tim Paulson, you move so well you can't finish any higher. Lazar Jukic, I'm going to need a standout performance from you in order for me to put you higher on my list. Maybe you make it happen this weekend, and then I'll put you in the top 3 for the rest of my life. I don't know. Scott Tetlau, featured him in my 22.3 video where him and Mal O'Brien, I didn't think were quite doing the thrusters up to the standard. We haven't seen him in a little while, but no, I don't think that he's going to finish in the bottom 5, so I put him right outside of the bottom 5. Henrik Hepelainen impressed me during the semifinals, disappointed me during the CrossFit Games. Jack Farlow, my quads are bigger, but you're much stronger. I also don't think that you're going to finish in the bottom 5. Jorge Fernandez, you were one of the first people to like my Instagram post, so it made me feel kind of bad for putting you this low. Cole Sager in 19th. I don't know how you ever finish as high as you do, but you usually do. But you, along with Chandler Smith in the bottom 2, are some of the few remaining of the comp train regime, and I have to put you at the bottom because somebody had to be there. Are you actually going to finish there? Depends on whether or not allergies kick up. And the Madden Curse of Spirit of the Games Award from any year in the past always puts you at the bottom of the Rogue Invitational field. Moving on over to the women's side. Laura Horvat. I listen to everything that Ben Smith has to say. She's going to win the CrossFit Games pretty soon, which means that she's going to win the Rogue Invitational this year. Emma Lawson in 2nd place. A lot of the comments were saying, I don't understand how you can have Danny Spiegel in 3rd and Emma Lawson in 2nd. Those things are kind of contradictory, and I agree. But Emma Lawson is going to be beating Mal O'Brien whenever she gets an opportunity next. And you heard that here first. Danny Spiegel is pissed off at everybody for saying shit about her. Every event is going to be a a 1 rep max. She's going to call upon the powers of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the fucking Titan Games, and she's going to finish on the podium at the Rogue Invitational.
Is that what you think? You think?
Cara Saunders is the only athlete to speak out last year about how she actually felt about Noble and the jersey deal. She goes in 4th place because she's also really fucking good. Amanda Barnhart's in 5th. She put up a jerk the other day. That jerk looked really good. And everyone likes to hate on Amanda Barnhart and her jerks, but like I said, in relation to Samuel Quant leaving the comp train regime, and like I said, in relation to Cole Sager and Chandler Smith, there's going to be a shift. When you leave, you do much better. Amanda Barnhart in 5th. Olivia Kerstetter. People were saying that I was underrating her. Like, you think she's really going to finish in the top 3? That'd be fucking cool. And while I did think that my list was a little bit more ballsy than other lists that you may have seen, cough Brian, cough John Young, while their lists are likely going to play out better than mine, and when this is all said and done, I will also be making a video saying, how did my little hodgepodge list stack up against their likely much more statistically accurate lists? I wasn't ballsy enough to put Olivia Kerstetter higher than this, but I was ballsy enough to put Annie Thorisdottir 7th. I believe it was Brian who was saying that Annie has to be much higher than Laura. They were going to have some sort of a bet. Annie Thorisdottir's coming off a year in which she did team. She didn't even compete at the CrossFit Games. Maybe that leaves her a little bit more fresh. Maybe she wins the Rogue Invitational. But I do have her sitting in 7th place, right above Danielle Brandon. It seems as if she's been relaxing a little bit. That is when she's also helping out her coach, whose gym was unfortunately kind of beat up. She's going to be competing at the Rogue Invitational after an entire offseason where she can train towards the CrossFit Games. I think she'll finish higher than where I've got her here, but here I got her in 8th, right above Ariel Lowen. She belongs in the top 10. Fuck off. David McGowa. I don't know why John and Brian both had her in the top 3. Very similar to Lizard Dukic. I don't have any standout performances from her. All I know is that she usually underperforms, so I put her at 10th because she still is really freaking good. Annika Greer in 11th. They had her much lower. Maybe you can point to that Madrid championship or the Can West Games, but I think she did really well at the Can West Games. And in Madrid, she caught a couple of unfortunate no reps. I have her much higher than they do. Ellie Turner in 12th. I thought she would have finished much higher at the CrossFit Games. She didn't until she proves me otherwise. She finishes kind of in the middle. Alexis Raptis. I really wanted to put higher. I wanted to put her like in the 7-8 range, but then there was like Annie Thorisdottir, Danielle Brandon. I wanted to put Olivia Kerstetter higher, and the field is just so freaking deep that Alexis Raptis just happened to end up in 13th. I wish I was wearing my freaking shirt because I'm a big Alexis Raptis fan, but I'm not letting my fanboyism of certain athletes dictate where they're going to be finishing. Emma McQuaid in 14th. Last time I remember her actually having some sort of a standout performance was Wodapalooza 2020. I guess 2021 wasn't that long ago, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but the list is already done and she's sitting in 14th. The field is fucking deep. I think Manon Agnes I had on my fantasy fitnessing team. I also say Carolyn Privo. These two athletes are in 15th and 18th respectively. Carolyn Privo I think would have been a little bit higher on the list if I thought that Rogue was going to be as deadlift heavy as possibly John and Brian had said, but I don't think that it's going to be. So I've got Carolyn in 18th on my list and number 1 in my heart. Jacqueline Dahlstrom and Matilda Garns. Matilda Garns and Jacqueline Dahlstrom in 16th and 17th. I'll admit that I don't know all that much about Matilda Garns other than her placing at the CrossFit Games, and I do think that Jacqueline Dahlstrom's rankings were bolstered by the sandbag performance, and there will be no sandbag at the CrossFit Games. I've got Matilda right above Jacqueline, and then coming in at 19th and 20th, I've got Bailey Rogers and Andrea Solberg, but there's no hard feelings about 19th and 20th on my list on either side because it's solely who you're being coached by on the male side, and I actually hope that the athletes at the bottom of the list do much better than where I've got them, because then they can say, fuck you, Andrew Hiller, you don't know what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter what you think.
And then I can be over here saying like, yes, I'm glad that you did better. That is, unless you're being coached by Ben Bergeron. A couple of my favorite comments from my comments section in relation to this post. CrossFit Crash saying that the fact that we knew the workouts was supposed to be our little secret. Well, secret's out. Baz will run for brownies. Hopper wins for the women's. I don't know, man. Laura Horvat's a fucking monster. I'm going to have to ask Ben Smith what he thinks about that. Mike Halpin said, is this IG followers? I've already said that is not IG followers. This is just how I do things. Will Brandstetter, of course, the back end at the Sevon podcast, says that he likes this one, which is all that matters. I got somebody on my side. Corey Waller, one of the couple, saying that Kerstetter's going in the top 3. Nikki Rogers, Medeiros at 4 is wild. It would be wild, wouldn't it? Brittany Yan likes where I have Olivia Kerstetter. Chandler too low, Barnhart too high, otherwise fire. JRNG Jenkins Kiev. I've explained why those are there. Chris SD01, no way Spiegel would be 3rd. Confused with these predictions. Adler would not be 2nd either. Adler could very well be 2nd. However, I would not be surprised if Spiegel were actually lower. You are correct, but fuck it. She's finishing 3rd. Sleeping on Olivia. CrossFit golfer-esque. She's gonna surprise a lot of people. I hope so. That'd be cool. I hope she's higher. Like I said, I didn't have the balls to put her any higher. Ludwig saying Vellner's out of the top 5. Odd implements at Rogue. Vellner doesn't like that. He likes strongman objects, so he could very well finish very high, as he could also mess everything up all the time on every event. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Hashtag Patrick Vellner. Saw 237. Danny Spiegel would be bottom 5. This list is a joke. Go fuck yourself. Dustin Ruth disrespecting Sam Quan in 7th? I don't think so. I think that's a pretty good spot for him. Train with Dennis. Yes, that is it. Exactly what we said. Yeah, Briant, who is a CrossFit Games athlete. A very good swimmer from what I know. So he tagged the CrossFit Games swimming good athlete, and I want to know exactly what Train with Dennis and Guilherme Briant said about what they thought I was right about. Okay. Let me know how you felt about all that crap. It's okay if you disagree with me, because I even tend to disagree with myself on a handful of these. But I like things to be different. I don't want to see Justin Medeiros win every single competition, followed by Roman Krennikov, followed by Ricky Garard. We just saw that happen 2 months ago. Let's mix this shit up. What do you think? Andrew Hiller out.